we play a game.
Whether it be a nuclear strike, famine, or even an Ebola breakout. When the food shortages run deep, the only way to survive is to prepare in advance. So the hypothetical happened. The EMP went off. You're now at home and it's day 1 or day 3 and you're thinking about the future. Well, hopefully you prepared. And if you haven't prepared, take this moment just to note a few key things. You need to think short-term and long-term mindset. If it's a natural disaster, then most likely everything's going to be fine in a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. You'll get help, aid will come in, things will be fine. However, if it is a large EMP anomaly that happens, whether it be through a nuclear strike, a nuclear detonation in the atmosphere, or a giant solar flare, an EMP storm from the sun. Now, that is really what we're talking about, focusing on. You need the standard things that you would during any normal catastrophe, such as food, water, medical supplies, and I recommend a trauma kit. Any special needs as far as medical supplies go for your family, heart medicines, diabetes, insulin, even EpiPens. For those that have severe allergic reactions, you're going to need those. They will save your life. Cryptocurrency, it's becoming more and more popular these days. You need to create a backup and wrap that flash drive in an insulator. Foam's fine. And then if you have no other choice, no other means, you can also wrap that like a Christmas present, if you will, with aluminum foil. And that will give it its innate protection against an EMP. You also need to think about flashlights and batteries along the same lines, so their little electronics don't get fried during this said EMP storm or a EMP blast in the upper atmosphere. You can buy, Faraday cages. You can make them. You can also buy Faraday bags. They also have bug out bags you can now get that have a Faraday pocket inside of them. I find those quite interesting. Now with those bug out bags, you can put all of your essentials and a few electronics, solar panel charger, everything else that needs that Faraday protection. If it will fit in that bag, that's a perfect solution for you to use as a bug out bag. One of the biggest things that people talk about and get really into so dramatically are your bug out vehicles. Mine's bigger than yours. Mine's a zombie killer, yours isn't. However, if a true EMP happens to the magnitude that we are thinking that is capable, that vehicle is going to be rendered unusable. Any of the electronic components inside of it are going to need to be replaced. So the older generation four-wheel drive diesel vehicles have a huge chance in being able to be salvaged. Your newer vehicles, well, they're going to be parked on the side of the road. For your long-term solution, you're going to want to have a remote place, a remote piece of land. If you have the capability of having a bunker installed, you want to make sure it's done correctly. I do not recommend plastic bunkers. Those will deteriorate over time. You also have to be a minimum of 30 feet underground so that standard radiation from an EMP nuclear detonated device, or more so, all of these power plants that would actually explode in their own Chernobyl sense because of the evaporative coolers and cooling systems that is supposed to mitigate the heat that those power plants are actually generating. Now, they are not going to get a forewarning to shut their systems down, which takes a while to do. A hurricane comes in, yes, there's time to shut those down like they did in Florida. However, there isn't going to be any time. It's going to be like Chernobyl. Far more sinister, an EMP that hits all of the nuclear power plants all at the same time, renders all of the vehicles helpless. None of the gas pumps work. Your cell phones don't work. Communications is out. That's what we're talking about. You have to make a decision, and fairly quickly, if you're bugging in or not. You're also going to need a respirator mask and hazmat type suit for nuclear fallout, so you can keep your radiation exposure to a minimum for you and your family. You're going to need a bunker, and you're going to want to make sure that bunker is placed at least 30 to 35 feet from the top down into the soil. By not doing so, you run a great risk of radiation poisoning while you're feeling that you're safe in your bunker and everybody dies. That's what's going to happen to everyone that purchases those plastic bunkers and puts them 10 feet in the ground. That is not going to give you any protection against radiation. You have to remember that. Your family depends on it. Please like and hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching.